Hi, I recently watched a video made by my friend Ryan in where he teaches how to make spaghetti, but my only criticism of the video was the fact that when it came to cutting tomatoes, he actually used a different knife. And I think we both have the same knife. This is a Messermeister Asian knife, and mine's considerably thinner now because I've used it quite a bit, and I think last time I measured it's a little over ½ inch shorter. But what you really need to do is maintain the knives. They need to be razor sharp, and to do that you really need to use a sharpening stone, a whetstone. This is an item on my list of things to buy before I died, so I bought it. This is a Chosera 3000 grit, just the Rolls Royce of sharpening stones. And the other thing that every chef should have is really a honing steel, or a knife steel as they call it. And it's kind of a misnomer, I guess, because some people call it a sharpening steel, but it's not designed really to sharpen. It's really designed to, when you have a sharp edge on a knife, as you use it, it bends a little bit. And so what the honing steel does is bends it back, in theory. And so again, how to use one of these is beyond the scope of this video, as well as how to use a sharpening stone, a whetstone. But what I wanted to show was that really, as a chef, you really need to keep and maintain your knives really sharp. The sharper the knife, the safer it is. I know it seems counterintuitive, but when you're cutting and you have a dull knife, there's a tendency to slip. And so sharper knives have a better grip and on the food that you're about to cut. And so sharper knives are actually much safer. And how sharp is sharp? I have a piece of newsprint, and I'll just go ahead and show you. I mean, this is how sharp my knife is, and this is generally how sharp my knife stays. And this is how sharp your knives really should be. So we'll go ahead and apply, throw some newsprint out, and we'll go ahead and apply that to a fairly ripe tomato. So one of the techniques that everybody should really learn, maybe I'll stand up for it because I don't know if I can cut very well sitting down, is a draw cut. And for tomatoes, I generally use a draw cut, and that's basically, you're gonna go ahead and draw the knife across the tomato. I'm gonna start by bifurcating. Just as an overview, I'm gonna go ahead and bifurcate, little bruise. Bifurcate the tomato, I'll cut the stem out, and then I'll go ahead and draw cut. And if the knife is really sharp, we should have almost no liquid on the cutting board. So with that, stand back a little bit. Sorry, I'm in my PJs essentially. So we're gonna go ahead and bifurcate the tomato. And that's the benefit of a really sharp knife, is it cuts effortlessly. And you see there's no juices on the cutting board so far, and I'm gonna go ahead and trim out the stem real quick. Just go ahead and trim out the stem. And so when the skin, especially on a tomato, is really soft, you really need to draw cut the tomato. It's the method that works the best. And so you'll see me go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and draw cut the tomato. And as you see, and I know a lot of people think, oh, this knife is really big and it's just passing through a tomato, but as you can see, the tomato really does not move whatsoever. And the reason why is because it's a damn sharp knife. So we're gonna go ahead and draw cut the tomato, and let's take a look. And you see, the tomato's cut. I'm gonna get a bowl here, and basically the entire cutting board is dry. Let me go ahead and do that one more time. Again, we're gonna draw carefully. Remove the stem. We're gonna place the tomato face down so it doesn't wobble. A lot of people will cut it like this because it's a rough surface and it's easier to cut, but you're more likely to cut your hand. And so I usually teach this way, but again, the only way you're gonna cut this is if the knife is really sharp. So we're gonna go ahead and draw again, right? Z claw, the claw, knuckles to the back of the blade, and why I prefer, again, Chinese knives, because you have such a big surface area. And we'll go ahead and draw cut, right? Effortless tomato cutting, right? Effortless tomato cutting. And that's it. And we're draw cutting, and we're draw cutting. And you notice that I'm not really squishing the tomato whatsoever, and juice isn't running all over the cutting board. And so there's our cut tomato that has been draw cut with a Chinese knife. And we take a look, and pretty much the cutting board is dry. So that is draw cutting a tomato with a Chinese knife.